The Mirror reported that there is a picture of Boris Johnson holding a can of beer at his birthday party in June 2020.
It raises a big question. Can you be ambushed with a beer?
Well, it was Estrella, wasn't it? That's what it's reported that he was holding. I mean, I've had hangovers when I've kind of gone, I tell you what, I was ambushed by that Estrella. That's but what I love about the fact it's Estrella is, you know he didn't bring Estrellas to that dude. He's had someone else's. He's brought Carling. Not it, Rob's checking the fridge going, who's had my Estrellas?
Also, the moment he knows people aren't watching, he doesn't give a fuck about Brexit. Straight on the Spanish beer. Bombardier, I'm not drinking that shit. No, pass me the Spanish beer.
And now all of this stuff has just come in right before the show. Apparently, Rishi Sunak was with him but was holding a soft drink.
Of course he was.
That doesn't mean you're not partying. The rule wasn't, oh, you're allowed to meet up if you're drinking Fanta. Like, he's holding a beer. I think the judgment, right, is that Boris Johnson, if he's holding a beer, how high is the beer? Because if it's like that, maybe it's like an awkward work do.
Yeah.
Like that, they're having a good time. If it's like that, he's having the whale of the time he's partying. If there's two of them in a hat, sack him.
Apparently there were no photos of cake taken.
There was no... Imagine if you'd baked the cake. I splattered guts over that. There isn't a fucking photo of it. Are you kidding me?
Michael Gove cried in the corner. I tried so hard, I did the icing.
And the mad thing is, these were apparently taken by the official Downing Street photographer.
Yeah. Some of the 300 were, not necessarily that one.
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't know if there was ones where it was just, like, on a white background and they were, like, in flowing robes and no socks. Also, do you remember last budget when they knocked 20p off Spanish lager?
Yeah.
Cheeky bastards!
As the British Prime Minister made a visit to Washington this week, Mike said, is it OK that Boris, the biggest muppet of all, refers to Kermit the Frog during his climate change speech? All right, let's start with that one. The PM gave a speech to the UN imploring the world to take climate change seriously, but, as is always the way with Boris Johnson, he couldn't deliver it seriously. I tell you what's not easy, being funny.
The mad thing is, that's at the UN, so imagine being one of the translators trying to go to your boss. No, genuinely, he's talking about Kermit the Frog.
James, you OK with that?
Good gear, man. I like it. I would happily go on stage and do that material any night of the week.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd say it, but I'm starting to come round to this Boris Johnson fella.
You know what's also not easy? Getting a trade deal. The Prime Minister came away from meetings with President Biden without any hopes of a quick trade deal, which makes me think the special relationship might not be all that special. Boris basically said, I love you, and Biden said, that's nice. The usual shit gifts were exchanged. The Prime Minister gave Biden a signed book by astronaut Tim Peake.
Not good enough.
Really?
No, because I saw this news story, I checked, and that is a thing that you can buy online at waterstones.com. I imagine that it said Dear Joe Biden in a different pen before the signature.
The mad thing about it was, though, is Boris had also written in it. So Boris also wrote a message, so it's signed, but obviously by Boris. So all he's done is devalue it. Imagine giving someone a Banksy and going, here's a Banksy I've drawn on it.
Boris Johnson married Carrie Simmons at Westminster Cathedral, despite the Catholic Church saying you can't remarry. They got around it because his first two weddings weren't in a church, which meant they didn't count. I mean, it's so unlike Boris Johnson to find a way around the rules. The wedding took place in front of 30 people who were under strict instructions to socially distance, obey COVID rules and refrain from laughing at the line, forsaking all others. I'm pretty sure he's the only person who responds to his vows by saying, I might. What did you make of the ceremony?
I didn't get the invite, couldn't tell you. Didn't see any of it. They didn't film it, did they? Basically, those 30 guests, that's mainly his kids, I imagine. All lined up. But I mean, I've not really paid attention to his wedding, to be honest. It's just, it looked odd, didn't it? It didn't look like they were marrying each other. Did it? It looked like he was sort of like... It looked like it was her boss that she had to invite. So she could get a promotion and had to have the awkward photo, and then he's getting drunk, trying to get off with the bridesmaids. I know, but I really like this career, I want him here, but...
Now, the reception took place at Downing Street with a bohemian atmosphere of flowers and hay bales. The couple was serenaded by an acoustic trio called the Bo Fiddleys, who played covers of Mumford & Sons songs.
Oh, my God, look at them.
Both Fiddleys sounds dodgy, though, doesn't it? The kind of name, the Bow Fiddleys, it sounds like a radio duo that got caught doing something years ago. Oh, no, the old Bow Fiddleys are going down. No panto for them this year.
Now, and we thought we should do something for the Prime Minister, something nice to celebrate the wedding, so we've made him and Carrie a cake. Here's our cake for Boris Johnson and Carrie Symonds. If you'd like to bring it in, please. You will see it depicts Boris Johnson witnessing former advisor Dominic Cummings pushing Health Secretary Matt Hancock under a bus.
That's good.
Yeah, and then on the side it says, we give £350 million a week to the NHS. Let's buy a massive fucking yacht instead.
Ironically, though, if you ate all of that, you would put more pressure on the NHS. Well,
should Boris Johnson resign?
I've made a list of pros and cons.
OK, go.
So the cons with Boris Johnson are he called every lockdown at least a month too late. He continued to employ Dominic Cummings after he'd gone to Barnard Castle. He shook people's hands when he shouldn't have. He went on This Morning and talked about herd immunity. He didn't close any airports or impose any COVID checks on arrivals in the country. He missed 4 Cobra meetings because he was on holiday at Chequers. He produced the most confusing set of rules since I played Settlers of Catan. And under pros, he was quite funny on Have I Got News For You? Which is more than I was when I went on.
This week, the big story concerned the blundering, blustering ball of...
Bullshit.
That is...
Bullshit.
OK.
Bullshit.
That is Boris Johnson. Siobhan Rutledge said, is it OK that Boris Johnson this week said that women who wear burqas look like letterboxes? Now, in Boris Johnson's Telegraph column, he said that he didn't think we should ban the burqa, as has happened in Denmark, but he did compare people who wear a burqa to letterboxes and bank robbers. Let's talk about what a burqa actually is. And if you're worried that 3 white men may say something offensive at this point, don't panic. So are we. So what we're going to do, to show how awkward we're feeling about this as we go along, we're going to use a sphincterometer to measure how awkward we're feeling. Let's have a look at it right now. There we go. It's like the Channel Tunnel. That's how relaxed we are right now. We're absolutely fine.
Just 2 things. Number 1, I'm so glad that's what the sphincterometer turned out to be. Because I was worried that we were going to have a very awkward camera angle from under your desk. Number 2, Adam, if it is as relaxed as the Channel Tunnel, you need to see a doctor.
All right.
Because that's not healthy.
Someone's trying to stow away in there. OK, right, back to the serious bit. OK, so this is a burqa. It's a full face and body veil with mesh across the eyes. This is a niqab. It's the full-face veil we probably see the most in the streets. This is a chador, and this is a hijab.
And, of course, Boris, if you are watching, there is a very easy way to tell the difference. The burqa is an item of clothing worn by a human being, and the other is a postbox, you fucking idiot.
But here's the thing. I think Boris knows it's not OK, and I'm pretty sure that's why he wrote it. You know, when Boris Johnson appeared on our show, OK, the last thing he did before the cameras rolled was look at himself in the monitor, the little TV here, he looked down and went, oh, and made sure his hair was perfectly messed up.
To be fair, I do that as well.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And I always take off my proper hands to put these funny...
My point is, this is a man who thinks very carefully about his image and who spent time crafting the words to go into that column. Now, he said he doesn't want to ban the burqa, which made him look liberal, but he called them letterboxes. So he's also appealing to a less tolerant reader. It's like saying to your wife, oh, I love that dress. Didn't realise they made it in extra large. Now, exactly, that's exactly my point. Now,
That's exactly what happened to you on Saturday night.
We've created a character here called Stavros Johnson, a one-trick pony who keeps trotting out the same act as a distraction from a barrage of controversies going on around him. It is basically our audience warm-up guy in a blonde wig. So, can everyone head over to him, please, because we're going to use him again this week to try and sum up the news. Now, this week, Boris Flatley or Stavros Johnson, whichever one you want, struggled to keep the act going because a whole bunch of things were fired at him. And it looked, if everyone is almost ready, a little bit like this. So first, Firstly, there were the accusations from Jennifer Arcuri that he denied that he used his position as London Mayor to promise her support for her business while allegedly having an affair with her. Fire! Now, but he managed to stay dancing. Then his father Stanley was accused of groping 2 women. Fire! Meanwhile, Dominic Cummings claimed the PM didn't understand the customs union and was more concerned with writing a book about Shakespeare. Fire! Then the Tory Slee scandal continued with claims that he defended Owen Paterson, that Michael Gove may have acted improperly, that Tory-linked firms made millions out of the pandemic. Do you know what? Everyone fire! Plus the HS2 news and the claims that he still hasn't done enough to help Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, and there's calls for an inquiry into his holiday and his flat renovation. Basically, it's been a pile-on. The question is, how long can he keep dancing?